On April the 1st, the Liberal government is raising the carbon tax. After the increase, the carbon tax will cost 21 cents per litre of gasoline and 25 cents per litre of diesel. Could the Liberal Party's attitude towards the carbon tax change with a new leader? To chat more about this is Chris Sims, the Alberta Director for the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. Chris, we've heard many times from your federal director, Franco Terrazzano, how the carbon tax hurts everyday Canadians. Why don't you remind our viewers what this hike could mean for Albertans?
So after the April 1st hike, the carbon tax is going to cost Canadians big time. So in total, the carbon tax will cost people filling up a minivan about $15 extra every time they fill up. And just in that one tax, filling up a pickup truck will cost around $25 extra per fill up, again, just in that single carbon tax. And then when we start getting into things like truckers, who are filling up their big rigs with diesel, they're going to pay around $250 more every time they're filling up. And when you start thinking about, what you have around you in your home and your food and all of that stuff, all of it has been on a truck one time or five in Canada. And so now you can really see how the carbon tax is adding up. In fact, the Canadian Trucking Alliance said last year, long haul trucking alone, not short haul, cost $2 billion in the carbon tax. So it's an astonishing amount of money.
Wow. And as the Liberal Party looks for a new leader, some of the potential candidates have already gone on record saying whether they would keep or scrap the carbon tax. So who is for and who is against?
So far, we have seen the former Premier of British Columbia, Christy Clark, dip her toe into the river, saying, she'd scrap that tax, but she just bailed on it. So she's not going to go for that. Now we're really waiting for the two what are considered big contenders. We're waiting for Mark Carney, the former governor of the Bank of Canada and former governor of the Bank of England and longtime friend of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. We're waiting to see what he says, because he's been a big fan of the carbon tax for years. It's all through his articles. He's given speeches on it. It's in his books. But when they're staring down the barrel of an election happening soon, and they've got a carbon tax that they're going to jack up on everyone starting April 1st, can you imagine campaigning on that? So they've got a big choice here. They've got about 70% of Canadians who oppose having the carbon tax hiked up. Are they really going to campaign on that? So that's why we're really asking this question to all Liberal candidates. Will you scrap the carbon tax? Yes or no? And if you say yes, you'll scrap it, are you going to just replace it with something else?
Thank you, Chris. That was Chris Sims, Alberta Director for the CTF, joining us from Lethbridge.